To be very honest, 2020 has been one of the toughest years, not only for me, but for basically everyone here on this planet. We've faced losses, have had to adapt to a new normal, and with that has come a lot of pain and rough times. But I sought out to find the positive in this period and spoke to folks I knew to see how they were dealing with the pandemic. Welcome to the COVID Diaries. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Hafeezat. I am a YouTuber, current events and lifestyle blogger, social media influencer, everything on this very web platform. It's not my usual spiel, but I'm tired and I don't know why. So we're just gonna roll with it. It's gonna be fine. Today I have Rebecca Harding, aka Bekah, aka my coconut head, my love, my best friend here on campus. I love her. And she's gonna be chatting with us today in this installment of the COVID Diaries. So Rebecca, take it away. Introduce yourself. Share.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Harding. I am a junior double major in Asian Studies and Journalism at Temple. I am editor-in-chief of Refine magazine, which is an independently run women's lifestyle magazine on campus. And I'm also Hafeezat's #1 fan. So
I got my notifications on lock. She is the first person to watch my
bell. And y'all better hit the bell too. So
hit the bell. She said it. Listen to me. If you don't listen to me, listen to her. Okay, so that's awesome. So yeah, like Bekah said, she's a junior here at Temple. We're technically in the same year, but I'm an overachiever, so I'm graduating before her.
Well, technically we're in the same year, except you're an overachiever and I got freaked out about graduating early. I double major. I was like, I'm not leaving.
We literally flipped, which is funny because initially, I was like, I'm gonna graduate 3.5 to 4 years, and you were already set on graduating early, and then we were just like, no.
It's like, I'm out of here. And then sophomore year, we were like, never mind.
The sophomore year really rocked us.
Sophomore year. Technically junior year for you.
But anyways, so let's get right into the questions. All right, I ask everybody the same general couple questions, and then we're gonna get into more specific questions about you. So firstly, where were you the day quarantine was announced in March?
Oh my gosh. So I had gone back home after campus had shut down. I went back home to Northern Virginia, and I was in the living room with my mom, and we got this notification that the governor was about to speak. And we were like, oh no, here it goes. So we turned on the television and we're eating breakfast. And I just remember being crossing my fingers that, okay, everything's going to be open for my birthday, which is late April. It's funny now because looking back, we're still in the middle of it and we're it's almost been a year. But I was crossing my fingers. I was like, just say anything before late April and we're good. And then the governor just says, all right, we're on a lockdown until June 10th. And at the time that was early March. So we were looking ahead at 3 months of quarantine. And at that time, we didn't even have all that much information about COVID. Mm-hmm. So I was freaking out. My mom and I just looked at each other and said nothing. It was one of those moments that you just can't forget. And it wasn't anything significant. I wasn't doing anything special, but I just the world stopped for both of us. So
no, yeah, I definitely get that. It was weird, I think, for me because I still hadn't fully grasped the idea that a pandemic was even on our shores, because we didn't hear anything much in January, February. We didn't know this was happening. Meanwhile, this had been happening since end of December, right, overseas. So for that to just kind of pop up out of nowhere, I was like, this is not good. I hate the government so much. FBI, please don't come knocking at my door. Nobody send this to the FBI. Thank you. My name is Jamila.
Oh,
That's my name. That's my name is not Hafeezat. Don't send this to the FBI. Anyways, so like, what were your initial reactions to like the pandemic? I think we touched upon it a little bit, but
okay, that is like so broad, but I think initially when I first heard about COVID happening overseas, when it was still relatively contained to our knowledge, now we have information that tells us, hey, it was like already out of control by the time we had information. But it was my understanding that it was similar to like the common cold. It was going to run its course and that people weren't getting horribly sick from it and that only a few people would have bad reactions to it. When we saw the numbers, it looked less severe than the flu. So I was optimistic. I thought this was just going to be something that came and went and is just something we had to deal with. But when you started to see how much it was affecting people and the severity of it, and even the consequences after people had recovered, scarring of the lungs, etc., I don't know, it just really hit me. And I live in a family with several people who are high risk or immunocompromised. So as soon as things started to get serious, as soon as I realized that COVID was in the US, my family, I feel like we kind of self-locked down before it was actually enforced. My
yeah.
grandmother, before the lockdown was ever like announced or enforced, she had started quarantining herself in her apartment.
Love your
She
grandmother.
has diabetes, and she was not happy about missing her meetings at the senior center. She really enjoys those activities, but
Love
knew what she was doing.
your grandma.
Shout out to her. So she was, everyone in my family was just really ready to like lock down, do what we had to do. My mom like went to the farmer's market, got a bunch of frozen like meat, and she was like, we're good for the next 6 months. We don't have to leave this
Oh,
house.
wow.
That's a lot, but all right, let's do it. So, I mean, overall reaction to the pandemic, I hate it. It's horrible and I'm not having fun, but I feel like, I don't know. It's just like a lot to take in.
Yeah, so like you already touched upon it a little bit, but like since we're like 8 months into it, it started around March for us. Well, it started earlier for us, but we didn't know that it was early for us.
Right.
We love that. Thank you, former President Donald Trump. Emphasis on the former. But anyways, 8 months now, we're in it. It's November. How are you like navigating that? How are you feeling about that?
I feel like everyone has an individual responsibility to handle this as best as they can, just because right now we don't have a government that is willing to make those decisions for us and make sure that the public is safe and healthy. So I don't know. I feel like it's been interesting coming back to campus and trying to navigate that, deciding when it's okay for me to see people, how many people it's okay for me to see, because we don't have any regulations that tell us straightforward what is okay and what is not. It's
Yep.
all up to everyone individually to decide what they're comfortable with. But you also have to acknowledge that just because you're comfortable with something doesn't mean it can't negatively impact a non-consenting party.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been getting tested, limiting the amount of people I've been seeing, and adjusting to remote learning and also remote production of Refine has been so weird. But overall, I feel like I'm in a good spot emotionally and mentally, despite all odds. But I would like to get back to normal as soon as possible, and I'd like to see some real like progress made by our leaders
Yeah.
um, on getting it together, because other places in the world have, we just are not there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I know I was reading about it a little bit today. I haven't read it fully, but like I know that Biden has made it his mission to create a task force of like, competent people. Um, and when I mean competent, I'm not negating Dr. Fauci. I love that man. He was just with the wrong person. Um, so we have a task force of people who are actually doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. So fingers crossed. Trump is still not out of office, not until January. But Biden's getting a head start on stuff. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know what the government of PA is doing. I don't know what the government of Jersey or Virginia. Let's not talk about Virginia.
Virginia.
Let's not talk.
I don't live there anymore. Not looking to go back there permanently ever.
Phil Murphy, Phil Murphy made me mad because my high school had to shut down because Phil Murphy literally just told each county is allowed to make their own decisions about opening or closing instead of doing like a statewide mandate. And my school had to shut down because they had many cases of COVID. And I was like, that's Bring Attack. We love that. So
Right.
I don't know. Our leaders, like even the blue ones, they're still like messing up here and there. So all we can do is hope and pray and yell at them on Twitter.
Oh, absolutely.
Going past that and going into more of a personal thing. So because of COVID, a lot of people had their plans, usurped and everything like that. And I know for you, you had applied to like this really, really awesome internship in New York, but it didn't work out in the way that you wanted it. Could you like explain that a bit more?
Right. So there's this internship it's a program that's split between DC and New York. And in the world of magazine journalism, which is my concentration in the journalism department, if you get a spot in this internship, it's basically like set in stone, like you're gonna like make it. It's one of the most competitive ones for magazine journalism students. And I applied and I thought I had a really competitive application. I asked one of my scariest professors that I love very much to write me a letter of recommendation. And that alone was so gut wrenching. That was probably harder than the actual rejection was asking him for a letter of recommendation because I didn't know what he would say.
No,
He's
it's very scary.
yeah. So then it comes time to hear about this internship and nothing. And weeks go by and eventually I follow up. And they said nothing had been announced, but they said, okay, like you're gonna hear from us in a few days. And then a few days later, I get this email and it was a rejection. My application was denied. I was not offered a position. But the way that the email was phrased was so bizarre to me. It was like almost saying, okay, if there were normal circumstances, if there was not a pandemic going on, you would have gotten it. You were a great applicant, like you had this, this, and this, but all the publications pulled out.
Hmm.
It was kind of weird and like bittersweet to almost have this rejection, but it be kind of, I don't want to say backhanded, but kind of like, oh, if things were normal, you would have gotten this and you would have basically had job security, like almost guaranteed.
Yeah, like that's really annoying. Like definitely in the moment because it's like, what do I do now?
I almost wish, so I was telling my mom about this when I got the email because I was devastated. And I was terrified to email my professor that had written me this beautiful letter of recommendation. I was like, I didn't get it. But I had almost hoped that they would have accepted the applicants that they were going to accept and then cancel the program. So at least those applicants would be able to say, okay, I was accepted to, and then they drop the program because even that says something. But just like kind of rejecting everyone and then being like, oh, but you could have gotten it if, and this is also a time specific internship. So you can only apply to it after your junior year of college. So this is where it gets complicated for me because I thought I was graduating this year when I applied last year. And now I'm technically in my third year, even though credit wise I'm a senior and I'm graduating in spring of 2022 with my double major. I'm like, could I technically apply again? You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Basically, I haven't decided if I'm gonna even hurt my feelings like that again. But yeah, that was really weird, and COVID definitely ruined my plans, basically.
Yeah, I was seeing so many people sharing their rejections or sharing how their like internships were being terminated, and I felt so guilty because mine wasn't, and I was just like, "Yo, that
Don't
makes sense. Just don't say anything. Just keep to yourself." I keep to myself anyways. LinkedIn does not know anything about me. I post all my positions like in my like profile, but I don't do the announcements of Hafeezat started this new. I don't do all that. My parents have instilled in me that evil eye is real, and so
Yeah, I should do that because I'm like a chronic overshare. I'm always like, well, I've gotten better at that. I don't announce on LinkedIn, when you see the people that have like this huge, like 3-paragraph announcement about like an unpaid internship. I don't know. I just feel like that's clown behavior. But anyways, I'm not calling anyone specific out. I've just seen a lot of it.
No, I know.
But like when I like for refined things, I'll like announce or something. Yeah, but I feel like your parents are probably right about the evil eye thing.
I take it very seriously these days. Because I do a lot, and I like to share. I really like to share, but sometimes my plans don't work out the way that they do, or sometimes they end up doing better. And I always regret the fact that I shared one idea with somebody, and now I have to kind of pivot and be like, oh wait, never mind, I'm doing something else. I've done that so many times with just like school in general. Like I thought I was gonna go to law school, and yeah, that was a fun time, wasn't it? I was a part of both and everything. Like I thought I was gonna go to law school, and now
we all thought you were going to law school, and you might,
I don't want to.
Let's see. You're always doing a million things at once, so I know whatever you do is going to be crazy, and I'm going to be like, how is she doing this? Well, I'll be cheering at you from campus when you graduate.
Lots of naps. I take lots of naps. But anyways, even though the internship opportunity didn't work out for you, how are you able to occupy that time now, since you pretty much probably blocked out most of your time over the summer for that? So since it was gone, like what did you do to fill it up?
My mom and I learned a lot of TikTok dances.
Yes, for this.
Yeah, you probably remember this. Yeah, my mom and I spent a lot of time together. I picked up a not for credit Korean class because Temple, not to call her out, but to call her out, discontinued the advanced Korean courses, and that is my concentration in my Asian studies degree. So I finished the Korean coursework offered here, but there's a organization in New York called the Korea Society that offers remote advanced business level reading and discussion courses. So I took that. It was like a once a week course, and it kind of gave me something to do. We had big like oral report project like at the end, which yeah, it was nice. It occupied my time, but it also made me feel productive without like over stressing myself out. And I'm actually taking the exact same class again this semester, even though it's not for credit, just because I really liked it.
That's nice.
My teacher is like the best. So yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't do all that much over the summer. I freelanced a little bit. I ended up freelancing for Men's Health.
Yes, I will link that in the description box. She got some money for that. I was very close to asking you for some of it. But then I was like, that's rude, Hafeezat. Don't do that.
Hit me up when I'm like actually rich and not like struggling.
Don't worry. I'm going to visit you in your New York penthouse. It's going to be lit. It's going to be great.
I'll move you into the guest suite.
Is that or like your Korean penthouse? One of those.
Or both.
Both.
Yeah. So even though the Men's Health article came out in October, that all that happened over the summer. There was just it's a long production time. Yeah, so I tried not to stress myself out too much by putting an emphasis on productivity during a global pandemic. It's really hard for me not to do that. We're both Tauruses. It's what we do. We stress ourselves out. We sign up for too many things.
We don't talk about it.
But we're talking about it.
You're right.
And so, yeah, so just trying not to put too much on my plate, letting myself have time to just do nothing was really, I guess, an integral part of my quarantine experience. I watched a lot of Netflix. I ate a lot of delivery food.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. I racked up a large Uber Eats bill this summer.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna link her TikTok down below too, so you can see the dances.
Actually, I deleted all of them.
Are you serious?
I did.
You're evil.
I know.
I need to.
You can just imagine. Yeah.
So you talked about, doing freelance work for a magazine this summer, and you also said that you are currently the editor-in-chief for Refined magazine, which I have the honor of writing for as a staff writer. So Rebecca's been a great EIC, if I do say so myself. How has that been right now? Has it been a bit more difficult due to the pandemic versus last year, or?
So this is my first year as editor-in-chief. Last year I was the features editor, and the year before that I was just a staff writer, which is like the most important job ever that you have and are killing. Um, and so I unfortunately just like transitioning to remote production was really strange, especially entering this new role with minimal guidance. Francesca, who was our last editor in chief, was amazing, making sure that we had all the resources we needed to kind of get on track despite the circumstances, you know, gestures and everything. But the semester before I was named editor in chief, we were in the middle of production of our rejection issue. So each semester we have a flip through issue and we pick a theme, and we didn't know about the pandemic when we picked the rejection issue, but it ended up being very appropriate for the times, and we weren't able to have a flip through because campus shut down right in the middle of production. So kind of picking up where we left off with that, it's been really hard to kind of get back into the swing of things, especially with a completely new team. We had a lot of members graduate last semester, so we are starting almost from scratch. And yeah, so kind of keeping all of the parts moving has been really difficult since I can't meet with people in person, or I'm trying not to, limiting that as much as possible and making sure that I am giving everyone as much attention as they need. I'm one person, but our team is big and I want to get to know everyone on a professional and personal level. So yeah, that has probably been the hardest part, just balancing, making time for every single team member as editor-in-chief.
Okay. Yeah. As editor-in-chief, I have a question. Do you ever write digital pieces or like not really?
I wrote a piece over the summer.
Hmm.
So technically I was editor-in-chief then. It's, yeah, I would say like it's something I could do if I had time to breathe. I am writing a piece for the flip through issue.
Okay.
This time, but also when you're if you're editor in chief or just on one of the senior editors, we are in charge of some of the front of book pieces and back of book pieces, and also managing the whole production of things. So I don't write as much as I used to when I was a staff writer or features editor, which is kind of sad because I'm a big writing person. I love to do it. I love to talk to people, interviewing, everything. Yeah, but not as much writing as I used to, but still trying to keep up with that so I don't lose it. Because I don't know. I feel like if I don't write, I'll like stop being able to write.
Yeah. So yeah, just turn on the light just to, make sure that you all can see me. But, have you been doing any freelance work as you've been in like this semester? Do you have any pieces potentially coming out that you can tell me?
Okay, so I'm working on another thing for Men's Health, but I have to be super hush hush about that. So no details, sorry. Um, but I've been pitching publications kind of as usual. But because of the pandemic and it's the end of the year, we're like in the last quarter, the budget is like gone
Yeah.
for freelancers. So I I found that at the beginning of the year, I usually have a lot of luck landing pieces that I pitch. So
Okay.
at the beginning of the year, in like January or February, I will pitch a ton and then I'll get a ton of assignments. So this year I pitched, oh, I forget how many I pitched, but I had like one month where I wrote like 4 or 5 freelance paid freelance articles,
Wow.
despite having like a full-time class load. And it was manageable, it was just a lot. Um,
Mhm.
but people tend to want to take chances on newer freelance writers as well at the beginning of the year, rather than at the end of the year when they have minimal budget and don't really want to like take any chances.
Yeah.
What I found.
Future aspiring journalists, write this down. This is free quality content you are getting from her. She's amazing. Follow her, everything. Everything will be down below, obviously. But um, no, I've learned a great deal from you. I really took a chance joining Refine. It was really weird because like for me, like I never really sought out to like, be a writer. I loved writing just like, my thoughts about me and like other things that I felt were important. But Refine has definitely given me a space to grow and to learn and to also refine, my thoughts. I pun intended, pun very much intended. But it's true because not only just like because it's because of you. Like you're the one who told me do it, bitch, and I did it, and I'm still here.
The thing is, you see that you're giving me too much slack. I didn't tell you to do it. I bullied you into joining. Over the course of a couple months, every time you would have like an idea or like a hot take, I'd be like, okay, write it for Refine, and you were like, no. I was like, write it for Refine or else. And then you did, and you liked it. At least I think you did. Well, you're still here,
I,
so
my first article, I was ready to throw in the towel because my ego was hurt. When I saw so many edits on the page, I was just like, did I do something wrong?
brutal. It's our job. It's our job to be like assholes. I always tell the editors at Refine, I did not bring you on this team to be nice to people. Um, we'll get an article and it'll need a lot of work, which is fine. Like writing is always like a work in progress. I get crazy edits on mine. And people like put me on a pedestal because I'm editor in chief, but that doesn't mean anything in freelance. Like I will literally get a piece back and they'll be like tearing it apart, like rework all of it. And it sucks, but you kind of have to just like acknowledge that it's the editor's job to do that. You don't want someone to look at your piece and it not to be good or not to be its best and just be like, okay, I don't want to hurt their feelings. So, all right, up on the website. And then you don't have something great to show when employers or if you send in some like previously published work to a pitch or something and it not to be quality work. So, yeah, editors are assholes. This is coming from an editor and it's okay. Like it was a good piece. I don't want you to like
No, yeah, I really loved the first piece that I wrote. I still love it to this day. I still use it as one of my writing samples to this day. So it's really nice. But yeah, Refine's definitely a good space to be a part of. If you're coming to Temple or thinking about coming to Temple, definitely check us out if you're interested in journalism or just writing in general. What?
I said they can DM me.
Yeah, you can DM Bekah. Like I said, all her stuff is gonna be down below, so you can talk to her.
I'll block you.
And you can DM me too if you want to ask about me, like my personal experience being a staff writer. But yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. But outside of like, refining classes, how do you like create time for yourself and to do things that are like a bit more fun or a bit more leisurely?
Yeah, so between school and Refine and work, because I also work as a writing tutor at Temple, I am not left with all that much time, but I made sure to leave one day a week open and it's my sleep in day. So I can sleep in as long as I want. I love to sleep in. I just can't with my schedule the rest of the week. So on Sundays, I don't turn on the alarm. I just let myself wake up when I wake up. Yeah, and I feel like every day I try and schedule time to just do whatever I want. Even if it's in between work and class, I don't want to overload myself to the point where it's just like school and then work and then Refine and then homework and all that. So yeah, I kind of hate the idea of scheduling time for yourself because it makes it feel like a chore. When in my head, it should be like just a priority and then you schedule work around your free time. That's just Taurus speaking. I love my rest. But yeah, I try and schedule at least a couple hours a day where I just don't have to do anything and I can do whatever I want. During that free time, I usually scroll on TikTok. I eat food that's bad for me. I lay in bed and do nothing. Just like good quality stuff like that. It doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to be glamorous or social media worthy. I just sit around and be lazy and do nothing.
Yeah, self-care has definitely been commoditized and capitalized on extremely these past couple of years. Not only in this country, but just like, in Western culture in general. But like self-care is also literally just breathing for like 15 minutes, just stationary. It's taking naps. Do you consider 3 hours of sleeping a nap?
It depends what time of day it's done.
Anytime.
Okay, well, hmm. I don't know. It's okay, 3 hours of you mean like sleeping at night?
No, 3 hours of sleep like during the day, I guess.
In addition to your other sleep?
Yes.
Okay, then it's a nap. Anything after you wake up the first time is a nap.
Period. Okay, awesome. Because people tell me you went to sleep. I'm like, no, I took a nap.
People, okay, Taurus and naps. No one else understands. I stand by that. And no, like I nap multiple times a day usually.
Yep.
I'll take like 15-minute nap, or if I have more time, I'll take like an hour nap. And then by the time it's time for bed, I'm still tired. So
Exactly. As long as I can sleep at night, like, I'm okay.
right.
I'm
It's the
okay.
only where I keep going. I guess that's another thing I do for myself is I just take naps. Or I'll listen to ASMR and take a nap. Chef's kiss.
I
Love.
don't know if I can sleep to ASMR.
You'll have to try it. I like it. For me.
I will not try it. Well, we're at our last question.
Okay.
Okay. And with 5 minutes to spare too. So what do you see for your what do you foresee for yourself within the next couple of months, whether this pandemic sorts itself out or not?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what I'm like eating for breakfast tomorrow, or if I'm eating breakfast tomorrow. I would like for us to get to a point where we have more concrete regulations, at least a plan. I mean, that's not really for me as an individual, but just for us as a society, I would like us to get to a point where we kind of know what steps need to be taken and that those steps are being taken. Um, as an individual, I would like, I don't know, I'm trying to get through this semester. I'd like to end the semester strong. I'd like to have a restful winter break. I quit my grocery store job, so that's going to be fun. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time.
I
And
can't do that, but props to you.
yeah, and also Refine's fall issue will be out towards the end of the semester. So that's another thing that's going to be happening in the next month or two that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's exciting. And like I said, everything's gonna be down below. Even links to Refine. Might plug in a couple of my pieces just because it's my channel. I do what I want.
All your pieces are.
All right. Well, that's all that I have. Is there any final words you might want to say to anybody about anything or everything?
Be safe, stay positive, test negative. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, if that's it, thank you, Bekah, for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Bekah Harding, my first best friend at Temple.
And also hit the notification bell. I'll say it again. Just do it. Just do it. And also subscribe, like this video, put this video on your social media, blow this up. Because so far no one has challenged me for #1 fan of the As Told by Hafeezat channel. So make sure to do that.
She took my whole spiel. She did it. She said it beautifully. I don't even have to say it again. Do what she said. Do what she said. All right. I will see you all within the next installment. And with that, goodbye.
Bye.